Hello everyone, this is Ethan Dragon, and welcome back to another episode of Fire Emblem Heroes. As you can see, we made it to tier 38, just a bit shy of tier 39, but as we'll talk about, we could have made it to tier 39, feels bad. This week, since we had Not as our bonus unit, we could kick out Sothis and put in Brownmon to give ourselves more attack. Which, honestly, I don't know how much it mattered this week, but we're not going to worry about that. Of course, we're running our turn 1 AoE shenanigans here. And, well, on offense this week, we did alright. I think we pretty much full cleared every defense, except for 2. One of them I didn't full clear because I mistapped and didn't break the duo's hindrance on turn 8. So, you kind of can't do much about that if you mistap the one unit that's supposed to break the structure. And the other match, we unfortunately mistapped as well, and that cost us 1 unit. And because we're not running an offense, bonus offense mythic, since we kind of don't have the particular bonus offense mythic in Uller this week. Yeah, we lost 60 left from that, and that cost us tier 39. But that's not the end of the world. I think the thing that hurts more is probably missing top 3k. Pretty sure we would have made top 3k if we didn't lose that lift, but at the end of the day, the main thing that matters is that we managed to stay in vault with our goofball shenanigans. Because that is a very distant goal of ours, is to be able to stay in vault using the same team. The same one team shenanigans just every season. Doesn't matter if there's no bonus mythic or whatever. That's the dream. We're slowly making our way towards it, but still a long way to go. Because one of the main problems with that kind of dream is you just need to have super stacked merges on mythics. And we're pretty decent on merges right now for light season. The main hump we have to get over is for Astra season. We do have plus 10 Plumeria, but that is literally it. We probably want to get some other mythic for Astra season plus 10, preferably at least another one. And then if we have minor mergers on the other mythics, that's fine. Because I don't think we're gonna ever get to the point within a reasonable time frame where we have every offense mythic maxed out. That would be pretty ridiculous. But yeah, at the very least, I want to have 2 plus 10 offense mythics that we can always run and get our score re-emerges that way. So if we do have the bonus mythic, then we're fine, and if we don't have them, we're still fine because we have that plus 20 points from the double maxed out Astra mythic. So yeah, have a ways to go here. Here, Fallen Edelgard decides to go in. Of course, she's attacked once now, so her damage reduction is gone, and kind of a small problem. She's not running her signature B skill Armored Wall, so he didn't get rid of Cell of Special Acceleration, but either way, he had Steady Breath, so it still wouldn't have mattered. And, oh yeah, she didn't even have damage reduction because she's not running Armored Wall. And he has Vantage Ignis, so not very good. But as usual, our defense is basically live and die by the same strat. Either kill or we don't. That's how it goes for our team. And the people seem to be getting a bit better at not getting themselves screwed over by AoE, but I definitely prefer AoE over Glacies nowadays on defense just because there's way too much damage reduction. And with the HP stacking, it doesn't matter if your Glacies is doing like 60 plus more damage. With damage reduction, they're probably going to survive, and that's pretty much all they need to do. Although once again, Ascended Bjorn is no match for even pulse time, but Bramamon is also no match for one-shotting Bjorn, which is unfortunate. But she misses the kill, and here Bramamon gets to attack again, and for the first time ever, Bramamon actually picks up the kill. Exactly, totally not rigged. On the follow-up, because usually he misses the kill there, but not this time. So they're going to take out the Bramamon that ruined their deathless run. And well, the problem here is, of course, Legendary Julia still exists. So with Pathfinder, she can just absolutely chip down the entire enemy team. Hold the bulk of the entire enemy team. And that's the value of AoE on top of that, as well as Blaze. And they even take out Uller. So there's 3 kills for them. And I guess the other Bramamon gets advanced. Doesn't really matter too much. And for that reason, they surrender because Legendary Julia is ready to go again. And no one's really going to take out Mills at this rate. And also pick up the next kill on like Julia if they can. Few quick replays so far. Here we have the classic. Just spam a bunch of offensive units against this team. Definitely viable because the only unit that could possibly pose any threat is Stella with his Ignis shenanigans. Speaking of shenanigans, Air's Refine has definitely been way too useful. I used her quite a few times this season to tank Legendary Lilina. In previous times she wasn't able to before, because I was running Swift Sparrow on her. But with her remix, she got attack res unity, which is at least 5 more res. She also gets, you know, +8 res, or +8 to all of her stats, in fact, during combat, which is pretty ridiculous. Yeah, so unfortunately, another ridiculous thing is Stella actually proccing Ignis, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, she also has the effect where she gets 20% of her current HP at start of combat to attack and res during combat. That was such a weird way to phrase it. But that definitely significantly boosted her res tanking capabilities, so she's able to do things like tank Legendary Lilinas and whatnot, compared to before. So I think now my Air has 41 base res, so if I have like, if they don't have something to neutralize res field buffs, there's Fort Res 4, there's Kaden, there's Milla, so she can get a pretty consistent res here, which is fantastic for us on offense. The not so fantastic thing has been Sparkling Boost 2, or Sparkling Boost Plus I should say. Definitely some mishaps with that, but what are you gonna do when that happens?
Our mission.
You just gotta deal with it. It really anti-synergizes even harder with our close counter vantage noontime strats with Nino, but I mean, we'll see. It's been fine so far. It essentially just forces us to basically only use Vantage for one turn and then you have to set it up again, which is not always a viable option. So yeah, Vantage has definitely been super useful for sure. And honestly, to this day, still do not regret going plus defense air. The only other IV I would have picked is plus HP, which given this remix would not make too big of a difference because it only really applies to the 20% scaling, would not make it matter as much. I would rather just have the extra defense to take less damage against any units attacking defense. Because now she can actually reasonably, post remix, she can reasonably tank a maybe one hit from a relatively hard hitting melee unit that doesn't proc a special. Specials are still going to obliterate her. And unfortunately for us, we don't quite have enough damage to take out Brave Hector. And Legendary Julia is stuck in the back, like usual. That's one problem with our meme layout. We just don't get to attack, so... Zelda not going to do too much here, because damage reduction, Ignis going off, pretty solid damage there. Not is of course not going to do very well, so we run Luna to do a whopping 4 damage. Of course there's damage reduction here, but still wouldn't have killed regardless. It's another kill there, and well, of course Mills is going to be 0. Mills. We can run a special. Probably should, to be honest, but just can't be bothered. Because realistically, when is that ever going to matter is kind of the deal. And here, they correctly position their units, so there's no AoE shenanigans on Brave Hector, because that could have been pretty bad if got her AoE off on him. And with that, it's just Brownmon and Sylvia left, so easy finish for them. Cooler definitely just doing cooler things. She's just an offensive mythic, which for my particular team would provide some value because she's blue and would help us out against all the reds running around. Because Nino can't always deal with them, but other than that, she's pretty frail, especially since she's a mythic, so doesn't get much access to more HP outside of bonus. Moving right along, as expected, more save teams, the classic. Kind of interesting that people bring save teams against this defense, but it makes sense. You just hit end. If you don't do your daily damage kills, all you have to do is hit end turn, and hope you survive. That's it. And they have Healing Tower here, so they can just safely test the Bolt Trap. And now they know the other one's fake. One reason why you shouldn't just give the Bolt Trap for free like that, because most players aren't like me and will activate traps. I only activate them if I really need to, which most of the time is probably because of a mistap or misplay. Or if I just have absolutely no other options to try for a win. So their Bolt Tower gets neutralized by our Healing Tower there. The Cooler is not going to be snapped against Bramamond. They decide to leave their units like so, which, you know, of course is kind of questionable. Because Legendary Julia, because of how they position their units, is going to target Uller over Legendary Claude, so the AoE hits him well. That's a rip to Fjorm. Of course, even Pulse Tie Stonks.
Shameful.
It's such a jank skill on defense, but it definitely can be pretty spooky. Especially for units that rely on having a special up, like Ascended Fjorm, or I guess like an AoE Ophelia or something for offense. Nuking purposes. It's a interesting skill to pull up on defense. And it really is only viable because quad mythics on defense, or triple mythics on defense is a thing. Even though there's quad mythics on offense, you can still get a pretty reasonable HP stat. Because, you know, my Nils has 74 HP, but he has minimal Dragon Flowers. Like, I could give him more, but it's like, why would he need more HP? Speaking of which, I did need to give Seliph Max Dragon. I gave him Max Dragon Flowers now, because he needed to Infantry Pulse. Bonus Legendary Julia, if you haven't noticed yet. So, here they're going to do the classic Yuri strats. Of course, Seliph is never going to one-shot him because HP inflation. So this is kind of those instances where it would probably be a good idea to actually guard Seliph better from that, but you know, it's a goofball defense at the end of the day.
You've
so
had your
it's
fun.
not designed to be absolutely amazing. It's just good enough to be, I guess, what's bad enough to be good enough? I don't know. But yeah, at this point, it's kind of the deal of if they lose, probably did something wrong. You shouldn't lose against this defense when you can get, especially break the infantry pulse ladder. Should just be able to pick up the kill on Legendary Julia here unless bonus staff is too powerful. That seems to be the case. And yeah, he's at 9 HP, so but they're gonna chip her down first and then pick up the kill. But otherwise, yeah. Brave Hector misses the kill, which would be kind of strange. I guess it's not too far-fetched, but it would be kind of strange. Bramon getting dance, of course, he's not going to do well against Brave Hector. Just does not have enough attack, so that's just a huge problem.
Clear a path.
And the whopping ether to heal for 0, 10 out of 10. So it's just picking up the last ether structure, which is a piece of cake. Nothing we can do. So just a clean win, not too mind-blowing there. Safe defense definitely helping them out with the early shenanigans. But honestly, even if they didn't have the safe defense, it's still just a good play to make because it screws over an infantry pulse ladder. And well, would you look at it again? Another. If it's not obvious already, yeah. Save teams are a common strat that people employ against us. Kind of interesting to see close guard spam. I know there's units, melee units that would give their Brave Edelgard a run for the money, but I kind of feel like you need to pad your kill power even more, especially if you're running the Brave Hector set, the Aegis, Party Fighter Aegis Brave Hector set. There's one thing to note, of course, is that they're not using Deflect Magic, so his res is definitely on the much weaker side and is a reasonable candidate to get. I know they're running, you know, a bunch of other res buffs, but the kill power is a problem. The Brave Hector, so if he misses the kill and has to deal with more Brave attacks, that can be a huge problem. But if he only has to deal with single attacks like this, the Aegis set is just super solid. As long, of course, as you can keep Aegis 3 procs, which is the purpose of their Darting Breath steal. I think Darting Breath is a good choice though, because having more speed on him does not hurt at all. Unless there's guard shenanigans. With all my strength. But even then, I don't think it matters too much. So Brave Edelgard going to easily wall, of course, because they're stacking quite a bit of defense, as you can see. So it would be a bit depressing if she lost those matchups. Of course, the Ignis would have done a decent amount, but here they correctly placed their save units to not get absolutely chipped down by Legendary Julia. So they're not going to get taken out. And honestly, it probably would have been pretty close if Brave Hector was in range. But that's most... Actually, it probably wouldn't be close, especially if he got panicked for a res buff. Because of the AoE shenanigans. But who knows? At this point, we just have the classic units trailing behind. Nothing they can do at this point. Dagger is low on HP, so they're not going to swing her in to get obliterated by Mills. That would probably not be a good idea. So Bramon going to attack Brave Hector. The other thing with Brave Hector here is, of course, the pulse tie thing. Unprocking Aegis can be a big deal for sure. Because the AI when their AI is prioritizing when to attack, the amount of damage a unit does is kind of a big factor into who attacks first. Because the general idea is after all the other tiebreakers that usually don't come into play except the win, draw, loss one, where units that take out an enemy unit are more preferable to units that don't die but don't kill the enemy unit, and then last but not least, units that get murdered by the enemy unit. After that kind of tiebreaker stuff, it just comes down to the amount of, essentially the amount of damage that the unit does minus the damage they take. And the formula is like 3 times the damage they do minus the damage they take. And it's net damage, so like healing and combat and stuff counts towards that, those shenanigans. So, yeah, when you have your special unprocs, kind of a problem.
Meet your defeat.
And another problem here is Wings of Mercy and Groundmon actually doing something for once. Been a while since Wings of Mercy actually did something. Also find it quite strange to see Legendary Affiliate just have no stat modifications during combat, because everything just happens to work out that way. Kind of interesting. Granted, of course, that's because of Impenetrable Dark, so we don't worry about that. Mostly because of Impenetrable Dark, I should say. Atri just doing Atri things. Yeah, faced her a couple times on defense. Most of the time, also on offense, we were just waiting for Bolt Tower. That was basically it. And because of how we positioned our unit, or ordered our units and stuff, Bolt goes first because there's no assist, but of course he can't pick up the kill because he has guard or no special for us. But what are we gonna do about it? Now he's in Vantage range, but he isn't going to one-shot Ruler, especially while she's bonus. So he's just gonna get obliterated, and now all the threats are gone. Besides Not, I guess, but Not is not really a threat when they have Atri waiting, ready to absolutely obliterate. And there we go. Just straight up. Barely surviving there, but it's not going to matter. It's going to do pretty minimal damage because of the damage reduction. And Dragon Fang for the overkill. Now it's just Sylvia left, and well, what is Sylvia doing? Not very much. Let's see if they go for farming SP strats. And Deadeye to absolutely overkill. And that is some SP farming for you. And once again, more safeties. Who would have thought? Actually, I don't know, it's kind of surprising to see this many to some degree, but not really at the same time. Not a personal fan of the Sacred Calibrate Viper thing just because it's not recharged. So again, the first hit is going to hurt a ton. Of course they do have Flame to help ease that a bit, but some units have recharge specials, like for example, Legendary Male Byleth, although it'd be a bit weird to see him being used this season. Because I'm pretty sure it's not water season right now. But it's going to be a string of water seasons pretty soon, presumably. I believe the next legendary hero is supposed to be water or something like that. Don't remember off the top of my head, we're not going to worry about it. But unfortunately for them, Bramamon says no, because again, that Sacred Cowl was not proc to start in Bramamon. Does not care about Flame, so kind of a problem. Really adds to the salt here by hitting that AoE. Ultimate chip down. And there goes Flame. So there's basically no chance of them winning at this point because Celos still exists. And that's kind of a big problem. Although now he's in Vantage range, so it's easier to deal with him, unironically. Because he doesn't get to proc Ignis that way when you attack into him. We're still trying low here, but Legendary Julie is also watching, so not going to be great. Good amount of damage there, actually doubling. Don't see her do that too much, even though there's slower units in Ether Raids. There's a lot of denying follow-up attacks. For her remix, which is going to be who knows when, because they added mythic heroes to the mix too. One, because a lot of them also needed, but two, she's still in an okay spot right now. Still usable, just not the greatest of the greatest kind of deal. But yeah, Air's not going to be able to deal with Seliph, so that's a ripperoni. And who would have thought? More safe teams, yay. This time around, their safety fence is in range of the catapults. So let's see what they do here. Zvolin's shield seems good. Definitely helps out against Brave Erica for sure, but most of the time you don't really need to worry about Brave Erica because she gets 2-shot by Arden basically every time. It's more about, I guess, Arden not getting 1-shot by Brave Erica somehow. She would need a pretty massive attack stat to pull that off, so I'm not sure about that. Easily obliterating not there, and they're probably just going to leave and Potato in save range. Let's see what they do here. Legendary Julia on the ready to do absolutely nothing. Right in range to get obliterated. So they pick up the kill here. Alright. Imagine they can just hit enter now. Although Brave Hector's in an awkward spot,
you've had your fun.
Not currently on range of far save right now. And Yuri is not in range of far save. And Bolt Tower exists, so Ramon actually only picks up the kill because of bonus tower, bonus structure, Bolt Tower. Yes, that's unfortunate. That's the kind of stuff I forget too all the time. Ah, that sucks. Yeah, it's just one of those things where Bolt Tower actually mattered. Rip. That shouldn't have gone that way, because of course Seliph is no match against Arden. So yeah, they're just gonna surrender there. They can do better than that. But with that, the season is almost over, so we gotta quickly go through everything else as well. Yeah, a bit unfortunate with the amount of failures we got this season, but as you can see, we are just outside top 3K, so that extra 60 lift probably would have done it. Unfortunate, but what are we gonna do about it? I still actually have to farm Summoner Duels for the 1600 glory. I should definitely be doing at least a match a day or something just to work towards it. We're not even trying an arena this week just because we're not going to be able to survive next season, I don't think, if we tried this week. And of course the other modes are not available during dual shenanigans. Oh yeah, this has already ended, I forgot about that. But anyways, we'll be back when the results drop in. And it's almost reset, so let's hurry. Also, I forgot to disable notifications. Time for something awkward to show up. Like an email, the classic. But yep, feels bad losing that lift to a mistap, but what are you gonna do? At least this week we have lift, but we don't have a bonus offense mythic since we didn't get Elamine off the I keep clicking on Summoner's Duels, but we have to farm up to 1600. Haven't done that yet. And while Arena, we're just dropping. It's water season, so you should be able to get back in pretty easily with Alphonse because he's water blessed. Where is it? There it is. So we'll just use our usual shenanigans and we'll be fine there. But other than that, that's going to be it for this episode. Thanks for watching. As always, this is Ether Dragon, and hope to see y'all next time. Bye!